Okay, so it's day 7 here on how I lost 20 pounds in 10 weeks. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but I did weigh myself on day 1 and I was 133 pounds. Yesterday, day 6, I was 129. Today, day 7, 130. So you might go up and down a little bit, but we are generally going in the right direction. Less. Anyhow, so today we're gonna make one of my favorite dishes on this. I could eat this every day, stuffed peppers. And it's pretty simple, so let's do this. Oh, I did forget to mention, I knew I was gonna forget things, that we don't wanna use any aluminum or non-stick dishes or pans or cooking things. So, you know, these kind of ceramic dishes are okay. So is stainless steel pots and pans. So is cast iron. So is enamel, copper if you have it, but you know, that's expensive. Or the enamel coated cast iron like I used yesterday. I thought that was crazy at first, but actually a week into it, I was like, okay, and I threw out my non-stick, and I'm happy about it. So it's worth it. Okay, so here's what we need. We're just gonna take these whole peeled tomatoes. Make sure they're peeled. Peeled tomatoes are better than unpeeled tomatoes, especially if they're not organic, because a lot of the bad things, I don't know, toxins are in the skin. But we have peeled ones, so I'm just gonna put them in like this and maybe just give them a little crumble. I'm not gonna add any, ooh, okay, they're messy. I'm not gonna add any spices to this because, well, like I said, either when you're not eating much, everything tastes better, or it's the fact that some of the spices and flavors from my stuffing of the peppers comes through. And I always have some extra that I wind up putting meatballs kind of in here, so maybe that's what flavors it. But anyway, so it's really simple. You don't have to do anything. You just break up these tomatoes a little bit. And obviously you just get a baking dish that corresponds to how many peppers you're gonna make. I'm gonna make 7 peppers. I wanted to make 8 peppers, but somehow I miscounted. Anyway, it doesn't matter. 7 fits great in here. Sometimes 8 doesn't. Okay, so for the peppers, after now making like 50 of these, I learned what I think is the best way to make a stuffed pepper. Okay, so I'm going to need to work on this. So I just cut it close to the top, just in case you can't see. And then it literally just comes right out like that. And I just grab whatever couple of seeds are on the side, and then this is really like the most exciting part. I just push on the green part gently. And look, it's like perfection. I do it over the garbage normally so that I don't have any seeds in my thing, but this is live. All right. So now I'm gonna do the same with this one. Same thing, comes right off. Get rid of the seeds. I'm gonna push this one through over the garbage. Which is really the compost. So if you're here in Seattle, don't worry, I am composting. Okay. Now we're gonna make the filling for this. So here's all my peppers. So I'm gonna need, I guess I should put them in a different bowl. I say you can't have too many bowls. I like to keep the tops, here's a little tip, I keep the tops with them. I don't know, I guess I like matching tops. It helps too when you have different colored peppers, so then you don't get confused. If you do get confused, you know, you don't have to do as many puzzle pieces. Okay, I'm gonna put these peppers to the side. And now we're gonna make the filling for the peppers, which is pretty simple. So instead of weighing, I'm just going to divide. So also, you can basically have 5 ounces of raw meat as opposed to 4 ounces of cooked meat, you know, for the for your, say, allowance. But a lot of times I can't stuff all of this in there. So sometimes I just do the best I can, and then I make a little snack of like a piece of turkey breast or something like that while I'm, you know, before my dinner or pre-dinner or something. Nothing's perfect here, let's just say that. Okay, so I'm gonna chop this onion. I only have one, so I'm trying not to waste it. Normally I might take the first layers off. These are also organic, so it's not as important. If you have an unorganic one, then definitely take first layer or 2 off. Okay. So obviously, well, I'm not going to tell you how to chop an onion because you probably know. But for this recipe, since we're putting the ingredients in there raw, I like to chop this onion pretty finely. This is not, you know what, I've had this $10 knife for 5 years. It might be time for a new one. Especially, or a bigger cutting board, which Amazon did not deliver to me. But I've ordered a second one. Let's see if it comes. I'm not going to bore you with this onion chopping. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so the onion is, is now chopped. I had to put on these glasses because, oh my God, this is a, I don't know what the word for it is, an onion that makes you cry a lot. So that was one big red onion. I'm using 2 pounds of meat, so this is kind of like a double recipe, but since, I'm not saying it's a lot of work, but you know, might as well do it once. These freeze great as well. Okay, so we're gonna use, well actually here. These are those sliced mushrooms from Trader Joe's, which I recommend, especially if you're just gonna chop them up. And you're gonna use them quickly. I don't think they last as long in the fridge, but if you're chopping them and using them quickly, you might as well get these. So the best part about this recipe, you don't have to pre-cook anything. It's pretty easy, just a little bit of chopping. Or maybe a lot of chopping. Maybe this is when having a food processor might come in handy. Every time I see someone use one of these, I'm like, why don't I use this? Well, here we go, finally. This cutting board is actually for like the juices of meat, so it's a little bit annoying. Okay, I thought I was gonna use 2 bags of mushrooms, but you know what, I don't think so. Already a lot. All right. We're also gonna put some parsley in here. So here's a little tip. When I bring my parsley home, I rinse it, cut the bottoms, and then put it in water, and it will last 2 weeks usually, cilantro or parsley. And then it's already clean, so if I don't want to use, I just grab off what I want. And put it in here. And then put it back in the fridge. Lasts way longer that way. And it's ready to go, which is also nice. Okay, I'm thinking I need a new knife. This. Okay. So, like I said before, lean meat, so we're gonna use this organic, 100% grass-fed and finished. That's the best, grass-fed and finished. 93% lean. I got this at Whole Foods. So yep, this. And here's the second one. So actually this would be perfect for 7 servings, pretty much, you know, because you need a little more than 4 ounces raw. Let's see if we can stuff all this into the peppers. I feel like we're not gonna be able to, but we'll see. It all depends. I try to buy the biggest peppers possible, but sometimes can't be picky. And I also always get organic peppers because they're one of the dirty dozen, one of the worst. So the most important to get organic. So we're gonna add some pepper. Just gonna sprinkle a bunch in there. Salt. I feel like you never have enough salt. I mean, not never, but I'm gonna use both kinds. Just a lot of meat. Okay. And then I'm gonna put in, you know what? Italian seasoning. So this has oregano, marjoram, thyme, basil, rosemary, and sage, and it's all organic, so might as well add a little of this in here. I don't want to be too surprised, so all right. That should be good. Smells good. Maybe a little more. All right. I already know from experience that I'm gonna need all right, let's just mix it up. These are also delicious, mixed with ground pork, obviously, as well, but it's hard to get ground pork, low fat. So for this phase one, say, best to just use this lean beef. And if you think you don't like the taste of grass-fed meat, well, you have to start thinking about how you don't like things that taste like they're supposed to taste. And it will grow on you. Personally, I don't like the taste of the factory meat. So it could just be what you get used to. I hear people say they don't like the taste of real salmon. They want it from a farm. Okay. Okay, so now's the tricky part, because I'm gonna have to try to make this into 7 portions. I don't really want to weigh it because that's a lot of messing. So actually what I'm going to do is make it into 8 and then see if I can split up the rest. So kind of making it into a little thing that I can divide. I never can do it all in the bowl, so that's why I'm doing half out here on this cutting board. I replaced my wood one with this plastic one, so I feel like these might have a little bit more. But you know what, let's see if we can even stuff any of these into a pepper. All right, here's a nice squat pepper. See how much I can get in here. Oh. Kind of perfection there with this one. I pretty much picked the whole thing up and put it in there. Oops. And then I just put the little toppy on and I stick it right in there. Oh, you're missing this part, sorry. I'll show you the finished product. Okay, so for these, that one was kind of fat and short. When they're taller, you usually have to put it in a little bit at a time. I just grabbed that whole glob. That was pretty non-standard, let's say. But yeah, the bigger the pepper, the better, because okay, these are working out well, although it's kind of going to be 1/8, it looks like. Although I think I might have put a little bit more, a touch more on this side, so who knows, maybe it's going to work out perfect. If not, we'll have some little meatballs. And then, yeah, sometimes I even just grab a little meatball and stick it with the meal. But these are just so great. So don't forget, this is all the free vegetables in here, so we can still make a side vegetable. Peppers are free. We don't have to count them. So we can still eat something else, which is so nice. Maybe make a shorter one by the edge. So this is like literally my favorite meal. And I mean, not to sound, like I said, I don't really mind my food not being hot, say as much as other people. This is the only thing I can stand to eat that was defrosted and not cooked. So if you're in a bind, traveling, saying you don't have an oven, this is the thing to eat. This is the thing to bring with you. These peppers don't want to stand up. This one's gonna lose its top, I can already tell, but that's okay. So yeah, this, I guess this all drips a little bit, and that's how it flavors the sauce. Okay, yeah, this is beautiful. And then I'm just going to, like I said, I do have extras, so I'm gonna make a couple of meatballs. Just, you know, I guess that's what always winds up flavoring the sauce, the fact that I throw these little meatballs in here. So yeah, I'm gonna put everything in here because then the sauce will be even better. I like to add just a little bit of water. I don't know why, because it just seems to evaporate a little bit. So I just add a touch of water to this, and then it's usually perfect. Sometimes I forget and I add it in the middle. So we're gonna put this in a 450 degree oven. Mine's 435 because this convection oven seems to be a little bit hotter than most other ovens, so I just do a touch down. And yeah, we're gonna bake this for at least an hour, and then I usually, after an hour, turn my oven off and then just let them sit in there. So yeah, we'll come back and, oh, did I show them to you at least? Oh, good Lord. Just in case you didn't see, that's what it looks like. Okay. All right, so we'll come back in an hour and we'll see what they look like. So here's the finished peppers. I actually burnt them a little bit, so I should have been paying closer attention. And it looks like I didn't need to add that water because so much kind of water leached from them. But anyway, they're still gonna be delicious. We're gonna cut one open and then I'll show you what it looks like. So I just went ahead and added some cauliflower rice to this. It's underneath the sauce that I took out of there. And I'll eat a little bit of sauerkraut before I start eating, and then this is the 4 ounces of berries. And you could make a side salad too if you wanted to, because with the free vegetables, but this is what I'm gonna eat right now. And yeah, later on today, I'm going to take a trip to Austin, so I'm gonna bring the chicken and asparagus that we made with us, and that's what I'll eat later. So I'll take a picture of it and let you know. All right, bye.